tell you, the folks at Sky Harbor are tremendous.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the policy session for January 25th, 2022. We'll call the meeting to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilwoman Ansari.
Here.
Councilman DeCiccio. Councilmember Garcia.
Here.
Councilwoman Guardado. Councilwoman O'Brien.
Here.
Councilwoman Stark.
Here.
Councilman Waring.
Here.
Vice Mayor Pastor.
Here.
Mayor Gallego.
Thank you. We'll begin with council information and follow-up requests. Councilwoman Guardado, followed by Councilwoman Ansari.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to take a minute to thank Keep Phoenix Beautiful and Equality Health for their partnership in last week's MLK Day neighborhood cleanup we did at Holiday Park in Maryville. Also, I wanted to mention that I am excited to be meeting this week and next week with mothers who are working hard to clean up their neighborhoods and make a safer community for their kids along 27th Avenue. I am so thankful for their leadership and for the leadership of Alhambra Elementary School Superintendent, Dr. Ceci Maes, and the hard work of our District 5 constituent and community organizer, Emmanuel Gallardo Sanidad, and identifying and training our new neighborhood leaders. I'm very excited to seeing everything that's going to be happening on 27th Avenue with all the different efforts that are coming together. And I think the next couple of weeks are going to be very transformative for that whole corridor. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman, and congrats on the forward motion. Councilwoman Ansari.
Thank you so much. First up, I just wanted to let people know that this Saturday, January 29th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., my office is teaming up with CPLC and Vincier Cancer Center to host a pop-up clinic at Cartwright Elementary School. We're going to have vaccinations, testing, city resources, as well as free KN95 mask rapid tests and more. Just want to remind folks and residents that the city is offering a tremendous amount of resources and we want to make them accessible on their own time. So from rent and utility relief to free bus passes, please join us and please tell your friends and family. More information can be found on our office's social media channels, which is at District 7 PHX or on Phoenix.gov/COVID. So hope to see folks this Saturday at Cartwright Elementary School. Also just want to highlight, last week we had an exciting walking tour with the Grand Avenue Arts and Preservation and the Grand Avenue Members Association. We really were trying to do kind of an overview of current projects and come together collectively about a plan for future growth of the area. Was joined by the wonderful Chris Mackey, as well as Planning and Development, Downtown Phoenix Inc., neighborhood leaders, business owners, and more, to discuss some of the recent neighborhood wins, such as the renovations that are coming to the historic Egyptian Motor Hotel, as well as the community's interest in affordable housing. We're really excited to continue hosting walking tours like this throughout the district. Next up, we'll be working with Deputy City Manager Mario Paniagua to highlight areas in District 7 that can benefit from infrastructure bill funding. And very excited for the discussion today. I think, infrastructure and investments that help us create safer streets and more is a big priority. And finally, just want to mention that my office will be participating in the upcoming Levine Community Parade on February 5th. This year's theme is Levine Launches Forward. So many policies and programs on the table that will help us do just that in 2022. And we're very excited to share more soon. So hope that the community can come out and enjoy the great weather with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe my PowerPoint's there. Yay, nay, tell me. Thank you. Looking forward to getting 2022 kicked off with my great interns, Karina, Scotty, Andy, Crystal, and Hunter. That's where we're celebrating. As you know, I have worked with the Humane Society and Poverty Pets. We teamed up with our friends Poverty Pets and One Love Pit Bull Rescue for a free spay and neuter clinic. We tested out our U-Haul dog houses, as you see right there, that we will be distributing this summer. U-Haul donated the material, and we had an art contest to build the dog houses so that in the summer, when a dog doesn't have shade, we can drop off immediately a pop-up dog house. So thank you. Thanks to Chris Mackey and her team for attending our Business Coalition meeting at 51st Avenue to teach everybody about small business relief grants. As you can see, a small business person there. And then as co-chairs of Fast Track Cities, Councilwoman Stark and I are pleased to announce we now have the Fast Track branded condoms. This is the best way to end AIDS in proper protection. We are determined to end AIDS. And once again, District 4, you have my email and my phone number. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any additional council updates? I would like to extend my thanks to all those who made sure that Dr. Martin Luther King's holiday was a day on, not a day off. We unveiled the city's updates to the city's Civil Rights Memorial, and really want to appreciate everyone who worked hard on that commemoration. Also want to acknowledge that since we last met, we unfortunately continue to lose members of our community and the Phoenix family, including some retired firefighters who are beloved in our city. Stark reminder that the pandemic can still impact all of us. Want to thank my colleagues for the unanimous vote to get more testing, more resources, more mobile unit support out in the community. We've come a long way, but the virus still very much remains a threat. I also want to honor a beloved community leader who we have lost, Lois Pfau, who really was a mentor to me and so many others, an educator, a person who worked so hard for engagement in the community. We'll miss her greatly, but her legacy and spirit will be carried on by those who she inspired. On a happier note, I want to congratulate our city on winning the Bloomberg Philanthropies Global Mayors Challenge. 15 cities worldwide won recognition, and Phoenix was one of the 3 cities in our country to win this important recognition because of the work of our mobile career unit, which is going out into our community, helping people interview for jobs, pairing candidates with employers. Candidates can get job offers right on the spot, and it's a great way to make sure we're out in every part of our city providing those important workforce services. In addition to recognition, Phoenix will receive $1 million and 3 years of technical support to advance our existing efforts. Thank you so much to everyone who worked on the mobile career units and those who worked with us on the challenge process. For those of you who have been up near Metro Center, it is exciting to see the construction in that area for the light rail system. Since this group last met in policy, we have completed the largest bridge span without a central support anywhere in the state of Arizona, and it is a very cool engineering feature. It's just a good reminder of how light rail is so critical to our city's infrastructure, and the exciting redevelopment happening at Metro Center is a credit as well. And with that, we can move on to agendized items unless anyone has any council member comments. All right. Oh, and I'm sorry, for our city manager, do you have any budget updates
I do not, Mayor.
or city updates?
I do not, Mayor.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. Today, I'm excited to have joined my council colleagues in working on Vision Zero pedestrian safety. We want to have as safe a city as possible. Councilwoman Stark has been a strong leader in this area, and I will turn to her to introduce the item.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, it seems every day that we as the mayor and the city council members get a text from our police commander liaison that alerts us to some traffic fatality. Tragically, it often involves a pedestrian. We are one of the leaders in the nation when it comes to red light and pedestrian fatalities. We've got to do a better job. And I think we're lucky because we have a street transportation department and a director that are looking at a comprehensive method to address roadway safety. I am very excited today to turn it over to Mario and to Keeney, who will be discussing our roadway safety action plan for Phoenix, as well as we might be able to weave Vision Zero into that. Thank you so much for allowing me to introduce it.
Councilwoman Stark, thank you so much, Mayor and members of the City Council. Good afternoon, and thank you for your time today on the policy to talk about comprehensive roadway safety. As we are all aware, and as you mentioned, Councilwoman Stark, a staggering number of serious injuries and fatalities occur on our Phoenix streets. We constantly receive those reports, often multiple times a day, from the police department that vehicle-to-vehicle, pedestrian, or bicycle collisions result in a serious injury or a fatality. Whether we're comparing ourselves to larger or smaller cities, Phoenix continues to be among the worst in the nation when it comes to the safety on our roads, with the highest fatality rates. We also know that this is a problem that is worse in lower income neighborhoods and communities of color. So we're talking about not only a problem of safety, but also of equity. It is imperative that the city continue to remain diligent and persistent in working to solve this problem that plagues our community. So with me today is Keeney Knutson, Street Transportation Director, who will provide an update on what we're seeing, what the data is telling us, and some next steps moving forward to ratchet up the city's commitment to safety on our streets. So I'll turn it over to Keeney, and then I will be back to wrap up the presentation with a recommendation. Keeney.
Thank you, Mario. Good afternoon, Mayor and members of Council. Here's a quick overview of the presentation today. We're going to cover safety trends and crash data. We're going to dive into what we've been able to accomplish thus far in the Road Safety Action Plan and what lies ahead. We're going to talk about some of the near-term safety improvements that Council authorized us to begin. And then I'm going to wrap up in talking about Vision Zero and introducing that topic. Since we're going to be providing a lot of information for you today, and some of it might be a refresher for most of you from previous presentations and discussions, but I also know that Council members Ansari and O'Brien both joined the Council since we had our previous policy presentation about roadway safety back in March of 2021. The first couple of slides contain information that we provided back in March, but they really do indicate the significant issues we have here in Phoenix. These are statistics from the National Highway Safety Administration data for total average fatalities from 2017 to 2019. I would note that these are national statistics which take some time to compile for cities across the country, but these represent the most current 3-year rolling averages that have been published. Over those 3 years, you can see that Phoenix has the third highest number of fatalities nationwide, behind only Los Angeles and Houston. And remember those two cities. So looking at the same data, but normalizing it for a per capita population analysis, in this case, total fatalities per 100,000 persons. Over those 3 years, you can see that Phoenix has had the 6th highest number of fatalities nationwide. But we're behind cities like Memphis, Detroit, Albuquerque, Jacksonville, and Dallas, cities that are smaller than us. But we're also ahead of Los Angeles and Houston, who ranked ahead of Phoenix in total fatalities. To put it bluntly, Phoenix is the worst large city nationally when it comes to traffic fatalities. This is absolutely not one of the areas that Phoenix wants to be a leader in. Furthering this discussion, in Phoenix we have over 30,000 crashes every year, which amounts to 85 crashes every day. We know crashes vary in their severity. Those crashes result in 2 severe injuries every day, and sadly, 1 death on our roadway every other day. If you want me to put this into perspective for those who travel, the number of deaths on our roadways each year could fill a 737. This is absolutely not acceptable for us. Taking the data analysis a little bit further, I wanted to cover some data from the last few years for our city, including what the COVID pandemic has meant for safety on our roadways. This is data on our fatalities involving bicyclists, pedestrians, and vehicles. And I should note that the motor vehicle fatality numbers include both drivers and passengers. So in 2019, you see we had 6 bicyclists that were killed on our roadways in 2019, 72 pedestrians, and 99 in motor vehicle accidents. So in 2020, with the pandemic, in those initial months, we had sheltering in place orders, we had virtual meetings and travel restrictions going on. But during that time, we saw an increase in the number of motor vehicle fatalities at 14% increase from year to year, a decrease in 4% in our pedestrian fatalities, and then a decrease in 3 total fatalities for bicyclists in 2020. So in summary, we had a slight decrease in pedestrian fatalities, but a significant increase in motor vehicle fatalities, which led to a general increase in our overall roadway fatalities of 5% for 2020. And finally, the most recent, but I will note unofficial data for 2021 shows some very concerning numbers. We had a total of 97 pedestrian-related fatalities, which represents a 41% increase from 2020. 8 bicyclist fatalities, which was an increase of 5 fatalities from the previous year, and 127 motor vehicle-related fatalities, which was an increase of 12% year over year. So in total, we had about 232 traffic fatalities in 2021, which was a 25% increase from the previous year. To provide a little more data about what we are seeing with traffic fatalities in Phoenix, the next slide provides information about contributing factors in motor vehicle fatal collisions over the most recent 5-year period from 2016 to 2020. You can see that the highest incidents are failure to yield and speeding. Similarly, the next slide shows the most common contributing factors we see in pedestrian collisions over the most recent 3-year period from 2018 to 2020. You see the highest ones are where we have pedestrian fatalities happening on our arterial major streets in the dawn, so dusk and dawn time hours, and even within 150 feet of an intersection, and then crossing mid-block. So you see the number of contributing within there. And then we also have a little less than half that are potential involvement of drug and alcohol symptoms. So this is another map that we've shown previously. The Maricopa Association of Governments publishes an annual report for the top 100 highest risk intersections in the MAG region, utilizing crash data from the previous 5 years. The map on the screen is the Phoenix metropolitan area, with Phoenix shown in green. Although all of the Phoenix intersections in this list are important, I would note that the red dots represent our highest risk intersections that rank in the top 20. The current MAG intersection list identifies 73 Phoenix intersections in the top 100 and 8 intersections in the top 10. So how will we reverse this trend? The first priority is the development of a road safety action plan, which will serve as a roadmap for priorities and strategic investments to make our roadways safer. I want to recognize and thank the Council for their unanimous support and approval that you provided last year. You approved the development of this plan, and we took that direction and have been working diligently to deliver this plan. Among the number of first steps our team took, we developed a graphic shown in this slide to accompany our work in community outreach for our action plan. Since March of last year, we have been busy in a number of areas, taking us along our roadmap to road safety. Our roadmap is an 18-month community and stakeholder-driven process with the intent of understanding their priorities to help create an action plan for the implementation of effective road safety improvement programs. I'll cover a little bit about Vision Zero later in the presentation, but I wanted to pause for a moment before I dive in to explaining our roadmap and what we are following, and just highlight that our roadmap and the steps we are taking in it have a significant amount of overlap with what a Vision Zero focused roadmap would look like. So the process really began this past summer with the discovery phase that was focused on data collection. We then held 2 interdepartmental goals and visioning workshops on September 28th and October 15th. These involved multiple city departments and provided road safety information to attendees and the opportunity to share ideas and goals for the plan. Additionally, the project team began the work on the development and modernization of safety tools used in data analysis and evaluation. This effort will run through this spring. Beginning late last year and continuing through this spring is the development of implementation strategy for road safety investments. And we concurrently began our first round of community engagement opportunities geared to provide input opportunities for the public related to their experiences and priorities for addressing road safety concerns in Phoenix. Later this spring and then through the fall is a safety integration phase, which includes the development of crash data analysis tools. Also beginning this spring and continuing in the summer will be the second round of community engagement, which will provide the public an opportunities to provide input and comments on the draft road safety action plan, and specifically on implementation strategies and areas of focus that will be in the draft plan. Finally, we anticipate delivering and presenting the final plan this fall to Council for approval and implementation. As you can imagine, community engagement is a crucial element in our road safety action plan. We have created a website specifically for this important effort to inform the public on the project and obtain meaningful input from the community. The website will provide continuous up-to-date information on progress of the action plan and opportunities for engagement. The website is currently live and can be found at Phoenix.gov/road safety. We are also engaging through public meetings. We will hold a total of 20 public meetings over the development of the plan, with 2 meetings in each council district and 4 citywide meetings. And as we connect with the public, we have provided them with an interactive MetroQuest survey tool that allows our community members to provide input and feedback on their specific priorities. And related to the meetings, we already have held several meetings and have additional meetings scheduled over the next few weeks. And we are excited to get the remaining public meetings for the first phase of public outreach scheduled and held by the end of February. As the Road Safety Action Plan is developed, Streets is also focused on the implementation of near-term safety improvements from the MAG Top 100 list. The traffic safety improvements will be implemented in a 2-phase approach. The first phase of improvements will modernize the traffic signals at each location. Phase 1 construction work began in December and should be complete in the next few months. Phase 2 work will begin shortly after the completion of Phase 1 work. The 3 intersections on the MAG Top 100 list specified for safety improvements are 75th Avenue and Indian School Road, which ranks our number 1 in the top 100 risk of intersections, 19th Avenue and Southern Avenue, and also 16th Street and Camelback Road. Our work on the Road Safety Action Plan is so vitally important, and as we've highlighted, our efforts will be focused in a number of areas. First, on our community and getting their input and feedback. Second, on the use of data to help us develop and implement safety solutions. Third, using our Road Safety Action Plan as a strategic tool to help prioritize those investments to save the most lives. Our plan is truly a plan to reduce the number of deaths on our roadways and make them safer for all, no matter how you use or interact with our roads. As we've been busy working on the plan, I know that many of our council members have expressed an interest recently about how Phoenix might be able to bring or incorporate Vision Zero into our current efforts. Vision Zero is a movement both nationally and internationally that takes seriously the goal of eliminating roadway fatalities, with the idea that one fatality is too many. As we've been working on our Road Safety Action Plan and also responding to council members' questions about Vision Zero, we have found a tremendous amount of overlap between our focus and our efforts and what Vision Zero would call for us to do. To highlight this, here's a list of 8 areas that represent things that we are doing on our Road Safety Action Plan that are consistent or in line with the kind of things that Vision Zero City would undertake. I'd like to highlight the 3 in particular, which one is the community engagement. That is so vitally important to the success of our plan. Data-driven is also an aspect that we have really emphasized here in making sure that we're using data to target our resources and our improvements in the right places. And then finally, I wanted to highlight the equity approach. As Mario noted in his introduction, the majority of these areas where we see high crash incidents, where we have serious injuries and fatalities, are areas where we have traditionally underserved communities. And this conversation couldn't be more timely. I would note that at the federal level, the recently passed bipartisan infrastructure law specifically mentions Vision Zero and has specific programs and funding tied to the promotion and support of Vision Zero efforts. Although the specific details of this new part of the law haven't been announced, it's a safe assumption that there will be a connection between federal funding and those cities who have embraced Vision Zero. To further this, I wanted to share with you the 4 core elements of Vision Zero communities. A public, high-level, ongoing commitment, which is kind of why we're talking what we're talking about today. An authentic engagement I've already talked about with the public engagement aspects we have as part of our plan. Strategic planning and in using a plan like we're developing a road safety action plan to be able to gear and focus our improvements and then finally using that plan to actually implement safety improvements on roadways that will improve the safety statistics and reduce those serious injuries and fatalities. Those 4 things that are part of a Vision Zero community are things that we're incorporating already in our Road Safety Action Plan. And finally, as we looked into Vision Zero, we also noted a number of steps or actions that are necessary for a city to be recognized as a Vision Zero city as part of the Vision Zero network. In my estimation, if council were to incorporate Vision Zero into our Road Safety Action Plan, it wouldn't result in going back to the drawing board. And I wanted to highlight these 6 and just really talk about one in particular. The number one in there is city must set a timely goal to eliminate traffic deaths and serious injuries. With this one, we don't need to set a timely goal at this point in time. If the city were to, or the council were to move forward with the Vision Zero goal, that's something we could bring back when we bring the action plan back in the fall to talk about strategies and implementation and resources allocated to this effort. So now I'll turn it over to Mario to wrap up our presentation with the last slide.
Thank you, Keeney. Members of the council, as you can see, there's a continued and urgent need to step up our commitment to addressing this huge problem for the city of Phoenix and the high number of fatalities, and as well as our ability to improve our competitiveness for federal road safety funds that are part of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Staff recommends approval to move forward as a Vision Zero city, incorporating Vision Zero into our comprehensive road safety action plan, and bring back a resolution to the council that adopts the Vision Zero strategy that has a goal of eliminating all traffic fatalities on Phoenix roadways. And with that, we're happy to answer any questions you have.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mario. We do have many members of the public to address the council, so we'll begin with public comment. I know this is an issue of importance to our entire city, but one where our downtown community has been particularly engaged. So we'll begin with Cindy, and she'll be followed by Ryan Boyd.
Hello, good afternoon, Mayor Gallego and City Council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I serve as a Senior Director of Phoenix Community Alliance, PCA, a 39-year-old business leadership and advocacy organization working to create a stronger downtown for a better Phoenix. I speak today on behalf of the PCA Board of Directors and its members. The PCA Multimodal Connectivity Committee, which is going to be meeting in about 30 minutes actually, has a public policy agenda that includes advocacy for safe streets. Adopting the Vision Zero resolution is vital to improving the safety of our roads, not only in downtown Phoenix, but also throughout the city, as the mayor had mentioned. Our residents, employees, and visitors trust the city to provide streets that are safe for all who walk, bike, scoot, ride transit, and drive them. Vision Zero focuses on not only speed limits, but also protected bike lanes, better intersections, traffic signals, lighting, and signage. By adopting this resolution and folding Vision Zero into our Road Safety Action Plan, Phoenix can tap into the safe streets and roads for all federal grant funds that are available through this initiative to make this a reality in supporting local transportation safety. These initiatives can include efforts using data, partnerships, and safe planning and community-focused solutions, all of that outreach that was mentioned before, to achieve not just zero traffic fatalities, but also severe injuries. A no vote denies the city access to those funds. As the 5th largest city in the country, we can join cities and states who have benefited from Vision Zero for years. Every day, people who we know and people we will never know die in traffic fatalities in Phoenix. Our Downtown Phoenix Inc. family lost one of our longtime ambassadors, Hans Hughes, after he was struck and killed by a vehicle while riding his bicycle after work. We respectfully ask you, urge you, to adopt the Vision Zero resolution as a component of the Road Safety Action Plan to keep everyone using Phoenix streets safer and to save lives. I thank you for your time and consideration for this matter.
Thank you. Ryan will be next, followed by Gabe.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Councils. For the record, Ryan Boyd with the Urban Phoenix Project, in support of the Roadway Safety Action Plan with the Vision Zero resolution. Just as you heard from both staff and from Cindy, we're talking about $5 billion in bipartisan infrastructure money on the floor that we could potentially not be competitive for without this very simple resolution. And we know that Vision Zero is not a silver bullet. We know that it's not going to just be a one day that we wake up and roadway fatalities gone. But this truly empowers us to get the full benefit of our professional staff who could actually provide more innovative solutions when we tell them that, yes, you should prioritize safety. And yes, you should make that a consideration towards the top of your list so that everyone, motorists, bicyclists, pedestrians, everyone can get to where they're going safely and without the risk of fatality or serious injury, because that's the other thing that we have a lot of on the city's streets that is truly tragic. So we urge the acceptance of the Vision Zero resolution because it truly is such a simple step that I think we're almost there. We're reaching for it. We just need that public commitment, that public process, and we would really reap benefits and put ourselves on the path to having safer streets for everyone. Thank you so much, and I hope that you vote yes for the Vision Zero resolution and Roadway Safety Action Plan.
Thank you so much. Gabe will be next, followed by Serena.
Thank you, Mayor Gallego and members of the council. For the record, my name is Gabriel Jaramillo. I'm the Director of Healthy Communities with the Vitalist Health Foundation. We're a state-based public charity focused on creating healthier communities. For more than a decade, Vitalist has engaged in the work to highlight the connection between transportation and health, and to engage in collaborative solutions to bring safe, affordable, and accessible transportation options within reach of all Arizonans. As noted just now in the presentation by the Road Safety Plan, crashes on roadways in the city of Phoenix are increasing faster than the growth of the general population. And that's not where we want to be as a city. Fortunately, we've seen an incredible efforts from this city council and the broader community to help turn this tide. The city has long recognized that while it may not have its department solely dedicated to health, its actions must consider the impact on community health and well-being, which include transportation and community design. Such considerations are embedded in the general plan, complete streets policy, and the bicycle master plan, and reflect the public's increased desire to live, work, and learn in communities in places that, by design, champion vibrant communities. Given the health and economic imperatives of developing a safe transportation system here in Phoenix, we are here to show support for this.
Thank you so much. We will go to Serena, followed by Marcus.
Thank you. Mayor Gallego, members of the Phoenix City Council, thank you for the opportunity to provide comments. My name is Serena Unrein, and I am the director of the Arizona Partnership for Healthy Communities, which is a statewide cross-sector collaboration of more than 30 Arizona-based nonprofits, foundations, businesses, and government agencies. The Arizona Partnership for Healthy Communities believes that all of Arizona's communities should be healthy places to live, and we support the Road Safety Action Plan and Vision Zero resolution. These policies will help improve community health by ensuring that all users of our streets, regardless of which transportation mode they choose, are able to safely access our transportation system. These policies will also provide flexibility for the city of Phoenix to choose the solutions that work best for our street transportation system. Health doesn't just take place in the doctor's office. The design of many communities makes it challenging for residents to be healthy and active and safe. These proposed resolutions will help improve community health by improving safety, and they will also help Phoenix compete for new federal infrastructure dollars. Safe walking routes and bicycling networks are critical links to employment and educational opportunities that help residents improve their lives. They are also critical for connecting residents to public transportation. These proposed policies will improve safety and mobility, support good health outcomes, and provide access to jobs, services, education, and other daily necessities for all residents, including those who do not own or are unable to drive cars. I encourage you to support these proposed resolutions. Thank you for the opportunity to provide comments and for your consideration.
Thank you. Marcus is next, followed by Jim Farley.
Thank you, Mayor Gallego and council members. I yield my time to my colleague, Gabriel Jaramillo, who spoke earlier.
Thank you very much. We'll echo what Gabe had to say. Mr. Farley, followed by Jay.
Hello, Jim Farley here. Thank you for inviting me to the meeting today. I've had the opportunity to meet with the transportation department, and I've got to say I feel that Phoenix is in really good hands with the great leadership of Keeney Knudsen and some of the others I've spoke with in that department. I was going to talk today quite a bit about my main topic with the city, which is red light cameras, but I'm not going to dwell a lot on that because red light cameras are clearly not on the agenda yet, although they very well may be part of this plan. One thing that applies whether the red light cameras come back or not, however, is the yellow light timing. And when I worked in the city, I lived in the city of Santa Clarita before I moved here a year and a half ago. I did work with the city relating to the cameras and the yellow light duration. They did an engineering study and adjusted the yellow times. I think it's time for an engineering study to be redone in the city of Phoenix, just like it was in Santa Clarita. I think it would be a good idea, perhaps with the the top 100 intersections to incorporate that, because the ITE in the last few years has changed their guidelines to get the timing set correctly. And I just think it would be a good time for the traffic department to reassess that, especially in light of the fact that the cameras could come back. I have met with several of the council members on this already, where we've gone into some detail on that, myself and my mentor and friend, Jay Bieber. But that's really all I wanted to address. We need to get the yellow timing correct in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Jay is next, followed by Stacy.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to address the council. My name is Jay Bieber. I'm a recent transplant to the Phoenix area. I'm the executive director of the traffic safety organization Safer Streets LA, named for my former place of residence, a research fellow with the National Motors Association and a member of the Institute for Transportation Engineers. I've served on numerous transportation-related boards and commissions, and I recently returned from the Transportation Research Board annual meeting in Washington, D.C., where these issues were discussed at length. So first of all, I'd like to commend the staff and the staff report that I have read. I think this is a very good focus on engineering and infrastructure, which is the core principle with regards to traffic safety. I love to see the information on upgrading the traffic signals in the intersections, the hawk signals, and making it safe for pedestrians to cross the street. These are all critical aspects of pedestrian safety and the safety of others on the roadways. Jim mentioned traffic signal timing. That is actually the area that I work in most. I'm working with the ITE on that. We are coming out with a journal article in a few months, probably April, on this particular topic, discussing that in more detail. So I won't go into great detail about that until it comes up with the council and the discussions. But I do want to, in the few moments that I have left, just give a little bit of caution about Vision Zero. As I mentioned, I come from Los Angeles, one of the largest cities in the United States, and Vision Zero has not done very well there, and it hasn't done very well in many other places as well. And unfortunately, the problem is, although the staff report states that becoming a Vision Zero network recognized cities does not entail universal measures like blanket reductions in speed limits or widespread lane reductions, these are the primary focus of Vision Zero. So regardless of what city officials intend at the moment, once Vision Zero is adopted, there will be pressure to take on these measures. I think that may mean that my time is up because I heard some beeping. So
it does. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I appreciate it.
Stacy will be next, followed by Mark Rodriguez.
Hi, can you hear me okay, Mayor?
Yes, we can.
There's some feedback. I'm wondering if everyone who isn't speaking could mute maybe. I just find it a little, is that possible? So there isn't feedback?
Mayor, it does appear that everybody is muted at this time other than the speaker.
Okay. Well, I think it might be you guys actually. I don't know if that's possible or not, but as long as everyone can hear me, I'll start.
We can hear you. Please proceed.
Okay. 3 mayors, 13 plus years. That's how long I personally have been advocating for safer Phoenix streets for pedestrians and cyclists, especially in our underserved communities. This city approved a complete streets ordinance in 2014, policy in 2017, and in 2018, Connor submitted a citizens petition for action because, like many plans the city makes, there was zero action. We are yet again 10 to 20 years behind. We have highways running through our urban core. The 7 suicide lanes are outdated and dangerous. There's way too much pedestrian shaming still. And this city should already have many years worth of community engagement and feedback. What we desperately need is action, and we need it now. I was dismayed to see in your report that Vision Zero, quote, provides a catchy term. Let's actually work toward preventing all of these unnecessary deaths with common sense solutions. There are so many great examples out there. You guys really don't have to recreate the wheel. And I would strongly suggest that staff and council, et cetera, go back to look at what the committee, the Complete Streets Committee did and pushed forward before the majority of them resigned due to, pushback from city staff years ago. So we don't have to recreate these wheels over and over and over. What we need is action. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark Rodriguez will be our final speaker. Mark, what do you think about pedestrian safety?
Okay, Mayor Gallego. The pedestrian safety is thinking all that the pedestrians and like all that stuff and all that community because it's like trafficking and all that stuff, like accidents and like all that stuff, Mayor Gallego. And Mayor, can you play that? Can you? I'm not so sorry, Mayor. I'm just a little confused. All right.
Oh, we want the
Mayor.
comments on today's Vision Zero discussion.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Are you not mad at me, aren't you? What?
Please go ahead, Mark. I'm
What, Mayor?
sorry.
You're not mad at me, aren't you?
No, sorry. I was
Okay.
just trying to introduce you to the topic at hand.
Okay, Mayor. I'm a bit confused and all that stuff because I know traffic and all that stuff because I went to your guys' City Hall to see this thing and all that stuff. It's because I like it, because it tells you what's in and all that stuff. And Mayor Gallego, domo arigato, sayonara. Mayor, Laura Pastor, Vice Mayor, domo arigato. I learned to do Japanese. Sayonara.
Sayonara, Mark. Thank you. That concludes public comment for this agenda item. We'll turn to council member comments and a motion. Councilwoman Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I would like to thank staff and appreciate staff for incorporating many of the comments and the dialogue that happened in our subcommittee, and the fact that we will use 2021 data, because if you look at our data, it goes from 2015 to 2019. I believe 2021 is where we had the highest deaths. So I feel like we have to use modern data in order to do some of the things that we are being asked to do. I was taken back when reading the report to talk about bullet 3, where it does say provides a catchy term to help communicate the city's goal towards zero traffic related deaths and serious injuries. I think any death should get any one of our attentions. I do believe that we need to incorporate Vision Zero within our road safety plan, but I also feel like we have been doing this. Now by incorporating it, we will then be able to apply for federal dollars. And I think that's what's most important, that we will be able to implement the plan that we have and use the money from the feds to be able to move ahead and have 0 deaths. Keeney, you mentioned number 1. I need more clarity on what you meant by that number 1 on page 23.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, are you talking about the PowerPoint, or are you talking about the report package?
I'm talking about the PowerPoint where item number 1, you mentioned something.
Do you know which slide number? I'm sorry. I'm trying to.
23.
23. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. I apologize. It took me a while to turn through that. Vice Mayor, that number 1 was the city must set, and this is part of the Vision Zero network recognition. So when we looking out on what Vision Zero is done around the country, there's different organizations, and Vision Zero network is one that recognizes cities who have adopted Vision Zero. So the first one is city must set a timely goal to eliminate traffic deaths and serious injuries. And so that is typically a part of when you adopt a Vision Zero, or when you're moving forward with an action plan to be able to do those investments, is setting a goal out into the future. So you have a timeline in the future where you want to get to that point where you would reach 0 fatalities on the roadway. There are some cities who have not set that. I wouldn't say that that's necessary for today, because I think if we're going to incorporate that part of the Road Safety Action Plan, Vision Zero, when we come back with the plan, which is going to be talking about priorities and how we would invest and how we would implement the plan, that's the time when we might want to consider talking about a year in the future where we would be targeting having 0 fatalities on our roadway.
Okay, because I think that was kind of the discussion that we had in our committee meeting. And I know I said that regardless if we had Vision Zero or not, our road safety plan should be targeting traffic deaths and serious injuries, in the sense of our road safety plan should be focused on no deaths, no injuries. So it gets a little confusing when, for me, when I hear something like that, because I don't think we need Vision Zero to do that. I'm not saying we shouldn't have Vision Zero, but I'm saying that Vision Zero our road safety plan should have that goal, period, and a timeline for that, since we're the highest. So that's why I'm trying to get some clarity on that. The other piece is that there was another one in here. And my understanding is that we're just going to incorporate Vision Zero. Gentleman brought up the red lights. Could you please explain that? Is the red light camera part of Vision Zero?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council, I'll very clearly clarify that. When we are putting together a road safety action plan, the point of that is to look at how because there's different things that you could do on a roadway to make our streets safer. And I've emphasized along when I've talked about this in public settings, and also when I've been briefing each of you, is that we need to have a road safety action plan that works for Phoenix. And that means that it has to be something that are tools and things that we want to implement for Phoenix. And I would also mention that Phoenix is a large city. And so when we've talked to each of the council members, there are some who understand that there is a difference between Maryvale, and there's a difference between Arcadia or Ahwatukee or Levine in those areas, and they have different needs. And so our plan needs to be work for Phoenix, but also individually work for the areas within Phoenix. And so as we look at ways to be able to improve our roadways, there's plenty of different ways we can strategically invest our resources. We could look at street lighting. We could look at intersection rebuilds that we're doing. We can look at pedestrian refuge islands. We could look at removing visibility obstructions on our roadway. We can look at ways to buffer and better protect our bike lanes, and also hawk signals and ways to be able to protect our pedestrians. So there's a number of different tools out there, and I know sometimes it gets characterized as talking about speed limits or red light cameras. And I will say, when we come back to council in the fall, it's going to be working with a plan that works for Phoenix. And those decisions and investing which tools we want will be a decision by council, and not something that staff is going to say. So if red light cameras are not part of the tools that we're going to implement here, that is something that we will have a discussion with when we bring back the plan. And similarly with speed limits, how we treat speed limits. But it is not a one-size-fits-all approach when we look at a road safety action plan and what we're going to do to be able to implement it.
Okay, I really appreciate and want to thank the department and Mario and Kini in figuring this out for us, because there is different opinions on how we go about and incorporate Vision Zero. And really like the fact that you heard us and listened to each individual, because each one of us has a different concern, and be able to make a comprehensive map, I guess I would say, of our traffic and movement of our city and keeping it safe, and making sure that traffic deaths, there's no traffic, 0 deaths, and avoid serious injuries. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Guardado.
Thank you, Mayor. First, as well, I want to thank Kini and Mario and the whole team for putting this together. I know this is long overdue. I also get the text messages. I also see what is happening out in our community. And I can say that as a mom of 2 young school-age kids, I know how important it is for our families to have safe streets where our children can walk to and from school safely. I have worked with a number of school districts in West Phoenix to ensure they have a plan in place that identifies the safest routes to school for their students. Just today, my staff met with Cartwright Elementary School District to focus on moving a number of these safe routes to school plans forward. But my question to you, Kini, is, or for staff, whomever can answer this, would be, do we know how many of the schools within the city of Phoenix have an active safe routes to school plan?
Mayor and Councilwoman Guardado, I don't have that information available, but we can definitely put that information together and get it to you, and to the rest of the council, so you understand. That is something our school safety officers works diligently, working with each of our Phoenix school areas or area schools, and to do work with them on safe routes to school and safety plans that will keep their children, the students safe, both going to and from school. And so, but we can definitely put that information together and get that to you.
Perfect. That'd be great, because as we're thinking about the infrastructure bills and as how we're applying for this money, we need to make sure that we keep that in mind. And then also, I would like to see us get to a place where every school that would like to have an active safe routes to school plan for their students could work with the city over the next year to get one established. Is that a goal that you think we can set in our comprehensive road safety action plan?
Mayor, Councilwoman Guardado, absolutely. This is a way to be able to put together a plan that works for us, and we always want to be able to highlight where we can direct resources, where they'll have the most good. And I think we can all agree that making our children safe on the way and to and from school is one of those ways to do that. I will tell you that with a lot of our safe routes to school type projects, they do involve capital investments, so it does take time to implement those. If we're talking about building sidewalks, safe crossings, those do take some time to implement, but it is something we actively do right now, and if we have additional resources to do so, that would help us to be able to extend the number of schools we're able to actively do that with.
Perfect. Well, once you can get me a list of the schools that do have it, then we can have a broader conversation of the ones that don't, and maybe come up with a plan and a timeline on how we start working on that would be great. And then also, I would also like to hear briefly, specifically, how we hope to leverage the funding included in President Biden's recently passed Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act to improve street safety across the whole city.
Mayor, Councilwoman Guardado, I think the first thing I will say is that I know Mario is leading a multidisciplinary team looking at our federal infrastructure, the bill, and how we can take advantage of it, not just in the Street Transportation Department, but across all of our departments and all of the different areas covered by the law. But one thing I'll say for our perspective is we are attuned through our federal lobbyists, but also actively through our industry communities to identify as information comes out from the federal government about various aspects of the law. With the respect to the Safe Streets for All program that was part of the bipartisan infrastructure law, we do know a couple things about that, knowing kind of generally that about 40% of the funding is going to be towards developing plans that we're working on currently, and 60% of those funds are going to be reserved for actually doing implementation. So in an area like this, we're going to be monitoring every different opportunity that is out there, how we, if we need a local match, using a local match to be able to leverage getting federal funds. There's a lot of different ways that we will focus on doing that, and I think as more information comes out, we will be having opportunities to be able to involve and communicate with the council how we're going to pursue that funding. Right now, it's just a matter of waiting and getting information as it comes out from DC.
Perfect. That would be great. And then we also then need to figure out a pipeline on how do we get that information to our constituents. They're the ones that are out there walking those streets that have no sidewalks. So I think we could definitely hear from them and learn from them on some creative, innovative ideas on how we can use that money. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much for all of your hard work, Kini. And yeah, looking forward to our next steps. Thank you.
Councilwoman Ansari.
Thank you, Mayor. Just as the Vice Mayor and Councilwoman Guardado mentioned, in District 7, we have some of the most dangerous streets in the entire city of Phoenix, which, according to Kini's presentation, translates to some of the most dangerous streets in the country, whether it's Maryvale, Tolleson, Levine, downtown. We've had an unreasonable amount of loss just this past year, and I, like my colleagues, hear about this issue from constituents on a very regular basis every single day, I would say. People are literally afraid to walk, to bike, to drive their cars in the city. So I'm just very happy that this is a conversation that we're having and is finally moving forward at the city. Early on when I started, I joined something called the Champions Institute, which is run by Smart Growth America. It's a cohort of local leaders across the country. Locally, I'm joined by Vice Mayor Jennifer Duff from Mesa, Arizona, to learn about the various policies of why streets are unsafe and solutions that we can implement at the city level. And I think this is absolutely perfect and aligned with that. So I'm excited to support the Roadway Safety Action Plan, including the Vision Zero component, for two main reasons that have been highlighted here today. First, and most importantly, it will save lives. I think Vision Zero provides a very clear and prominent commitment from the city to the community about our plans to eliminate roadway deaths and serious injuries. But second, it just makes absolutely no sense to leave any federal money on the table when it's there waiting for us to utilize it. As was mentioned, there is $5 billion available in the Safe Streets and Roads for All grants, which is a critical part of the bipartisan infrastructure law that we risk missing out on without this Vision Zero component. I know oftentimes one of the biggest challenges we have as a city is, passing plans but not having money behind those plans, and this gives us that money. So let's harness this opportunity. It's a rare opportunity where money is available for us. So I'm excited about that. Want to also extend a huge thank you to Kini and Mario and everyone who's been working on this, as well as to residents who called in today. Several of the residents who called were my constituents. So I know this is very important to residents in Phoenix, and I hope that today we'll join the 51 other U.S. cities who have formalized their commitment and that we do our part as well to eliminate fatalities in the city of Phoenix. So thank you again, and excited to support the Vision Zero today.
Thank you. Councilwoman Stark.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to clarify, and I guess I'll go back to Kini. If we adopted the resolution today, that just starts the process. I'm looking at how Tempe approached it, and they adopted their resolution in March 2018, and then in May of 2019, they actually came back to the residents with their plan, and that's kind of what we're planning on doing, taking Vision Zero, incorporating it into our roadway safety action plan. Is that correct? So it will take some time.
Mayor and Councilwoman Stark, that's correct. I mean, what we have as an action here is where council would direct us to develop a resolution. We have a draft resolution that's in the packet, but we would look to, if the council supports moving that direction, we would come back at a future formal meeting with that resolution to be adopted by council. And then what we would do immediately is, as we already talked about in the presentation, that there's a significant amount of overlap between what Vision Zero calls for and what we are doing. So our incorporation of that couldn't be a greater time right now to do that. As we move forward, and especially with our public engagement and putting together a draft plan, I think having Vision Zero focus, if that's the direction the council goes, it makes it a seamless kind of transition to do that. But I think when we come back in the fall, that's going to be really where we have the serious discussion with council about the investment of resources and how we're going to focus as a city on addressing roadway safety.
Perfect. I appreciate that. And I can't remember who the speaker was, but the one that mentioned 3 mayors ago, she was ready for this safety plan. And I agree with her. It's time that we really move on this. I think you have a great process before us, and that includes a lot of resident and business involvement. I appreciate that. And I agree with Councilwoman Ansari. There's a lot of money on the table, and we should not be giving it up. We should be going for our fair share of that money. And I think it's important we adopt Vision Zero ultimately. Mayor, I don't know if there's any other speakers, but I'd be happy to make a motion consistent with the recommendation that Maria put forth. But if there are other speakers, I'm ready for a motion. So
we're ready for a motion.
I'll make the motion and suggest that we follow the staff recommendation. Thank you, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion from Councilwoman Stark and a second from Councilwoman Ansari. And we do have time for additional council comments. I will join my colleagues in thanking the members of our city, our experts, and our staff for moving forward with this. I do want to recognize Gilbert Councilwoman Kaprowski is with us as part of the team that did this, and thank you, Councilwoman, for your work. My first fatality in my district as a councilwoman was a young person who was crossing Broadway, and just his family was willing to share the story with me, how deeply it was not just one life lost, but an entire family deeply, deeply impacted. Another family that's given me the chance to share their story is a family of Casey Clark, who was also killed walking on a city street, and just beloved daughter, good friend, left so many empty spots in so many empty hearts, or so many hearts that were just wounded with the loss. In both cases, drivers driving over the speed limit, and the families just wanted us as elected officials to understand what a big deal this is. It's easy to look at the numbers, but these are all families that have empty seats. So I'm deeply appreciative that we're trying to have the best technology, the best engineering, working with all of our city departments. This is not just the streets department, but a citywide partnership, and we need everyone to work together to create a safer city. Today's vote is very important, but it is just the beginning of our work to make sure our residents have safe routes to school, to work, and to the places they go to enjoy our community. So I will look forward to supporting the motion. Roll call.
Ansari.
Yes.
DeCiccio.
Mayor, just a quick comment on my vote. I am not going to be voting for this. Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I'm just not going to be voting for this. It's just another feel-good proposal that's going to do absolutely nothing in the city of Phoenix to make things safe. I'll wait and see what the final plan comes back as, but if I've seen what's happened in the past, it's been absolutely nothing to really fix it. And this is more directed toward Jeff Barton. And Jeff, you don't have to answer this now, or even, just I want you to just think about this. The city of Phoenix has talked about extending yellow lights for how long now? That's a simple fix, almost cost-free, that would have saved lives. Since we've been debating that, people have died. People have died at the hands of the city of Phoenix for not extending these yellows. This has happened across the country, all except here in the city of Phoenix. That is something simple that could be done. The other simple thing is fix our roads. Our roads are the most dangerous in the city of Phoenix. They are chock full of potholes. You sneeze, hit a pothole, you're going to be airborne, you're going to hit somebody or something. These are the worst roads I've ever seen. I'm glad somebody's here from the city of Glen, or the town of Gilbert. I was just in that town just a few weeks ago, and their roads are immaculate. They are beautiful. The worst roads I've ever seen are literally on the west side. And on the west side, too, you see, because it's older parts of Phoenix, they don't have lighting. They have lighting on one side of the street. This is not a complicated fix. This should be done immediately. These simple things could be done. Fix our roads, extend the yellow light, and put in more lights. It's not that complicated to do that. And we've seen people die because of our road system and the fact that we keep going after these feel-good proposals that mean nothing, do nothing, and don't work. Those are simple fixes that should be done immediately. Extend those lights. Thank you, Mayor.
Garcia. Garcia.
Mayor, I have some comments if that's okay. So I'll be supporting this. I'm excited that we're gonna be able to access some of those federal funds once we're part of Vision Zero. But I'm looking forward to the August report. I think two things, Councilman DeCicio's right. There is some easy fixes. There is some things that I'd like to see that are low-hanging fruit that we could get done without needing the funds. And then for the things we do need funds, I think it's important for us as we move forward with this to make sure that we address being able to actually protect cyclists and pedestrians, especially downtown, to be able to have protected bike lanes and so on. I do think we need to seriously think about how we're going to fund this and to figure out if there's ways to find direct sources that are going to be specific to this, whether it's downtown advertisement, whatever it is, that we actually put some real funds behind this. So I'm a yes.
Guardado.
Yes.
O'Brien. Stark.
Mayor, if I can make one comment, I do agree with Councilman DeCicio and Garcia that we have some easy fixes that we could do now. I know we did a road diet on Hatcher Road, and it would be interesting to follow and see how that works. So I do hope we proceed on the easy fixes, but with that, I will support. Thank you.
Waring.
No.
Pastor.
As my colleague stated, there are some low-hanging fruits. I think also, as Councilwoman Stark stated, with the Hatcher Road diet, I would like to see the data. And I think one of the things we need to do in this piece is really putting the metrics of when we do something and looking at the data if it did improve or it didn't improve. But I'm a yes.
Gallego. Yes. Passes 7-2.
Thank you. It's an important day for the city of Phoenix. Thank you for this valuable discussion about Vision Zero. We look forward to getting to work. That is our final agendized item for today. So we are adjourned.